Hello guys, how it's going? In this video we will talk about Git cleaning and stashing. So often when you've been working on part of your projects and things are still in the messy place, but you want to switch to another branch, for example, or do some other work, but your changes is not ready for commit. It's still messy, it's not clean, and it's not what you want to commit. You don't want to have it in your commit history. And you would not do a commit just to be able to return to this point later. So for that cases, you can use a git stash command. So stashing will take the dirt state of your working directory, that is your modified tracked files, and stage the changes and save it on a stack of unfinished changes that you can reapply it in any time, even on different branch. So let me demonstrate you stashing. So for example, I have this project. I'm currently, if I would check git status, I have my working tree clean. I am on main branch. So for example, I will just create some function, which will be sum, for example, a and b, and I did not have a time to finish it, so I will just pass. So you see it's not the final work, it's definitely not ready for the commit, but I need to leave it like that. I need to go to other branch or etc. So what should I do? I should do stashing. So for that I can use the command git stash. So let's do that. Then it saved our work to our stack. So if we will check in the project, it seems that our changes is gone, but they are not gone. They just saved and we can apply them later and saved in our stack here. So you can see all the stashes by using git stash list. So for me, I have two. So I did one stash before this, and now I have this latest one. I want to, for example, I already did some work on my other branch and I need to apply the changes and continue the work. So how can I do that? I can use a command git stash apply. And you see our git status that our branch is modified again. And if we will check it here in our pie chart, we will see that the work is back. And we can continue and we can work on our branch and then commit it. You can also use this command differently. You can specify which stash you want to apply by just using this. So for example, if I want not like this latest one, but this one, I could use this command a bit differently like that. For now, I will not use it as I don't need it, but you can use it. So if we don't specify a stash, so Git assumes that the most recent stash we try to apply, and it will apply it and remodify the files and reverted the work that you had in this stash. We had a clean working tree before applied our stash, but it's not necessary to have it clean. So for example, if I would stash my changes again, we will run the status. My working tree is clean, but I would do some other work. So for example, I would just create some new file. I will name it as a test. I would just edit and we check the status now. And we see that our working tree is not clean anymore. We have the changes that is staged that has to be committed. But it's not a problem. I can apply my stash even now. So I could just use git stash apply. And you will see that now we have these two changes. In case if there will be some merge conflicts, Git will ask you to resolve this conflict and will apply the stash on top of that. So stash is just something that you need to postpone and continue to work on that later. So for now, if we will check our list, we will see that we have quite a few stashes and there is not much details what in them. So the better way, you can always delete them, not to have a messy thing. So for example, you applied this stash and you continue with your work and you want to commit the changes, so you don't need this stash anymore, so you will never get back to it. So you could just use git stash and then drop. I would use it 3 times. I have 3 stashes here, and if I will just check the list, it would be empty, so there will be no confusion. But there is other way to do that, so let me just stash our changes again. Let me just check the list. You see that we have this stash. Instead of apply, you can use a different command. You can use pop. So what this command will do, it will apply your stash. If it's applied properly, it will delete it from your list. So you see that we have that our changes is here with the new feature with the test py, and you see that our stash is dropped. To be sure, just check the list, and the list is empty. For now, let's just stash the changes again. And as I mentioned before, you can apply this stash even on different branch. So let me just check what branches I have by using git branch all. So for example, I have these few branches, and I will create just new one. Create branch, new branch, and then we will check out to this new branch and check we currently here, as you see, we switch, we check the git stash list, and we will see that we have one stash. If we will check our project, nothing is here that we changed. No new file, no new feature changes here, nothing. Because we are on a different branch. We did the work on the main, as you remember. But now we can even apply these changes here by using git stash, and we will use pop because we want to apply and delete our stashes. We will not need it anymore. And you see that the changes is back. And you see that the work is here. So even if you work on some other branch, you can still apply your stash on different branch. So just like that, easy to do. Also, you can create the new branch from your stash. So for example, you're working on something and you wanted to test it or etc. So you could just create the separate branch. You could use git stash branch and the branch name of, for example, changes, like that. What this command will do? Oh, we don't have a stash. We need to create a stash. So let me just git stash first and then use this command. So now what we did, we created the new branch called changes. We switched to this branch, as you can see, and we applied all these stash changes here and deleted the stash that is properly applied. It's a nice shortcut to recover stashed work easily and work on it on a new branch. So for example, you have your stash, you did a lot of changes on the same branch and etc. And now when you try to apply this stash, you have a lot of conflicts and etc. So you could just create a separate branch and test your changes there. Another common thing that you may want to do with stash is to stash and untracked files. So by default, git stash will stash only modified and staged tracked files, but we can make this stash to stash our untracked files as well. So let me just create an untracked file, and we will name it untracked, and we will not add it. We will not track it. So if we will check the status, you will see that we have an untracked file here. And if we would just use git stash without anything, it will not stash this untracked file. But we will add -u flag, and it will stash everything. If we will check the status, you will see that our working tree is clean. You will see that everything is clean here as well. And if you will apply or pop our stash, you would see that everything is back, including an untracked file. Finally, if you will specify a patch flag, so Git will not stash everything that is modified, but it will instead prompt you interactively and ask you which changes you would like to stash and which changes you would like to keep in your working directory. So for example, you did the work and you don't need everything to be stashed, just some parts. There's some parts that you want to finish later, but other parts is ready, or you are still working on that, or etc. So for that you can use git stash and then patch, and you will have the interactive prompt, and it's asking me, would you like to stash this part? And I could say yes or no by typing Y or N. So I would stash these changes. If we will check the status now, you will see that our untracked file has not been stashed because we did not use the -u flag. So it's still here. To stash it, we just need to use -u. And if we will check now, our working tree will be clean. So that is all for this video. I hope you get an understanding about stashing and when and how to use it. If you found this information useful, please leave your comment, leave your reaction, and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like that. Thank you for your support. Have a great day. Bye-bye.